let's say you get two moves. You are Nick Caserio. You are DeMeco Ryans. You got two moves. And this is make moves via trade, via free agency.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, like offseason moves before the draft. You could do that. You get two moves, and I mean realistic moves, right? Not that, hey, I'm going to make a trade for us to get Jamar Chase in. No, I'm talking realistic moves. You have two moves out there that are teams that are players that could be on the block or free agents out there, and there are a lot of them out there, right? We just heard Devontae Adams. That's one who just hit the market. We know Cooper Kupp is a trade candidate. There are a lot of there. You got two moves to make. Realistic moves. Which one you going with? Can I tell you one of mine, Clint?
Yeah, give it to me.
My first thing is free agent, and I would go after the guard from the Colts, Will Fries.
Okay.
I think, to me, he is the top realistic guard candidate on the market, with Trey Smith being franchise tag and Works trying to get a long-term deal with the Chiefs. He is the next one on the list, a above-average run blocker, above-average pass blocker, and a good little extra part of it, you're taking him away from the Colts, a division opponent. But I think he feels the biggest need on this team. And as I've said before, I'm also taking draft into account, and I would much rather them have somebody that's a proven player in the league that has had proven pretty good idea of what you're getting, and that would be where I would go. That would be my first priority right now. It does not look like he is going to get franchise tag. That is where I would go if I were the Texans.
Yeah, look, I would not be mad at that at all. I'm gonna go a little different route. I would go center Drew Dahlman that was in Atlanta.
That's not bad.
And again, I know. Look, but before everybody starts jumping here, I understand. That he is an accomplished run blocking center. He obviously that's his strong suit. So there is some pass protecting growth and development that needs to take place there. I think that's going to be the case with every one of these young guys. But I think the center is key here. I think getting a center that can, one, communicate, and two, get the job done, I think is key. If he can communicate, the ripple effect across the guards and tackles is absolutely tremendous. Again, Nick Caserio has handcuffs on as long as his center can't communicate, right? Regardless of whether it's a strong suit, is run blocking, pass block, doesn't matter. Until you find a center that can communicate and has done it at a high level, you're going to have problems. And so I would go with center Drew Dahlman, and then I might as well go ahead and give you my second one. If you're going to take Fries, I'm going to take Kevin Zeitler.
So you're going. So you're two. If you got anything you want in the via free agency trade,
yeah,
you're going two guys interior.
I'm going center guard. One of them, and I know. Look, these are realistic. Right, we're talking about, it's been with Detroit. We're talking about a guy that is 34 years old, but put up some of his best advanced stat numbers. The last couple of years, and so Kevin Zeitler's, is it Zeitler or Zeitler?
I think it's Zeitler, but
either one of them. He won't. He's older, so he's going to be a cheaper route that they can go. So I think it's realistic. I'd go center guard right there.
And your new line would be.
I'd go have my two tackles that I paid big money to.
It would be Tunzel and Titus.
Tunzel and Titus Howard would be my two tackles. I've had Zeitler at right guard. I'd have Dahlman at center, and my other guard would be a competition, but probably be Juice Scruggs. I would bring in more depth. No, Patterson would be my backup center, but yeah, he could be a backup guard.
Because he came in.
Patterson could be your swing center guard that could back up all three middle positions. Yeah, you could do that. But yeah, I would go two offensive linemen. If I had it my way, I'd go two offensive linemen.
Interesting. Two offensive
interior
linemen.
Offensive linemen. Put my tackles back where they belong. One being a younger, not top of the market caliber center, and the other option being an older, obviously cheaper option at the guard position. But I would make that move.
I want to give my second one, but I want to put a pin into your first one.
Okay.
I do want I want to discuss that one further because I put out a poll. I completely forgot I did, and that gave me a thought of it. My second one, first, realistic. These are realistic ones. You can throw yours out as well on the Jim Adler, the Texas Hammer text line, 713-572-4610, YouTube and Twitch. If you have the ability to make two moves, your Nick Caserio, your DeMeco Ryans, two moves, whether that be getting somebody in a trade and realistic guys that are on the trade block and guys that potentially are free agents that you could bring in, two moves, what are the moves that you would make? My second one would be defensive tackle Jonathan Allen. I think that is one that is realistic.
That's a proven one.
And that is a proven one. And as we've talked about it, I don't know how many other areas across the defense you feel like that you really need a lot of assistance on, maybe safety. But I love sticking him in the middle of the defense. I would love putting him and thinking about pass rush. And he's somebody who play the run as well. But, I mean, starting to get a sports Woody with the thought of, on one side, Danielle Hunter, on one side, Will Anderson, and then on the inside, Jonathan Allen and DeMeco Autry on pass rushing downs. Just as a football fan and a guy who loves pass rushers and defense, that is a fun group of four. That looks like a group that could do what the Eagles did to the Chiefs. Yeah. And I think it is realistic. He comes in cheaper than what Deebo Samuel was going to for trade. So those would be my two moves. I'd go for the top guard on it, and then Jonathan Allen on there. I wanna get to some people. Someone just texting, you guys are acting like God. All this cap money. There's a big article on Bleacher Report on how the Texans are in trouble with the cap, even though they've got a quarterback. Okay, a young quarterback. Okay, you can go ahead and believe that they don't have the ability to go get a guard and and a tackle. You go ahead. You go ahead and believe that. All right, you can read whatever you want to. You go ahead and believe that.
Hold on, Show.
You make sure you add that up with other teams in the league, and you go ahead and believe that. But I'm gonna stick in here reality.
Well, let's say you're right, Texter. Let's say you're right.
You're not.
The Texans need to do, if you're right, the Texans need to and would do things like Seattle did today, cut 4 players and cleared up $28 million worth of cap space. Like the thought of the Texans aren't gonna make free agent moves this year to fill voids, whether it's interior offensive line, wide receiver, or defensive tackle, to think that they're going to sit steady and take cheaper than what I just said. I just had a 34-year-old guard, for crying out loud. I mean, like if you don't think that they're going to make those kind of moves and can make I mean, I don't know what the hell you think. Like that's wild to me. Like I just don't like the thought that the salary cap is going to keep in the necessary moves, whatever that may be, right? To give this team the best chance to take the next step. To me, is crazy.
What'd you say, Tyler? The Cowboys just cleared like over $20 million with the restructure of C.D. Lamb's contract.
I believe that's right. Yeah,
who just signed a deal last year. They restructured that.
Yeah.
I don't have time to have.
Whether you're restructuring your big money guys or you're cutting guys that can clear cap space. Either way it goes, the Texans are going to find a way to bring in. They're not going to fill the D-tackle void, which, by the way, is probably bigger than I give it credit for. It's DeMeco Ryans. It's his side of the ball. I mean, DeMeco Ryans is pretty adamant about it when he spoke at the combine.
Said it starts up front.
Yeah, I mean, made it sound even more dire than I thought, right? But the interior defensive line, the interior offensive line, and the wide receiver position, and I think you can add even safety out there, given the free agents that they had that are the Texans that are free agents now. Like, do you really think they're going to go out there and they're going to fill this void with like super cheap players in the draft, and then expect to go out there and like forget about the winning aspect of it? Like, do you think they're going to take a shot on an interior, like a couple of different unproven offensive linemen on the interior, and then roll C.J. Stroud back out there and let him get pummeled again? Like, I just don't know. The salary cap stuff is wild to me, man. And I'm not as stern about it with you, like it's not even real. But, man, I mean, to think that they can't figure out a way to fix the interior offensive line because they're just so cap stretched. And we're talking about Drew Dahlman and what are we doing
last
here?
Year. They did it last year. They restructured guys to give them even more cushion. They did last year. it's wild. I did want to touch this. I like your center thing. I'm growing a little more stronger on the center thing. I think you just looked at it and thought, boy, guard was so rough last year.
Yeah,
that they might. But the center on the offensive line is more important than your guard. Like it's a you would rather if the three of them up there are your best player, you'd rather it be your center than one of your two guards of the three of them.
Yeah, total package. Yeah,
I mean, everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm Jarrett Patterson. Truth be told, I wish I had more inside information on Jarrett Patterson. There is a chance. Now, I don't think that Nick and DeMeco, from an ego perspective, are gonna just. I think they're gonna try to force Juice to be a center. But there's. Well, I mean, he's just physically a significantly better player than Jarrett Patterson. But the reality of it is I don't have a problem in my offensive line with a lesser player physically in Jarrett Patterson, who, by the way, gives all-out effort every damn play and is going to make more plays than he's going to miss. But if he's an elite communicator, I would say, hey, I'm cool with Jarrett Patterson at center, and I would do some other things. I just don't know how they feel about Jarrett Patterson. I don't know is he a very, very cerebral player, and is he that good of a communicator? If that is the case, then I would guard instead of a guard center.